Welcome back to the Tropical Update. It's Sunday, September 17th. I'm Tom. I'll be guiding you through the graphics. We have a lot to cover tonight. We have Hurricane Jose, we have Tropical Storm Maria, and we also have Tropical Storm Lee. So we have a lot to go through tonight. So first up, let's pull up our first graphic, which is going to be Hurricane Jose. And this is the 11 p.m. data. It was 465 miles south-southeast of North Carolina. That's Hatteras. And it had 80-mile-an-hour winds. The movement was north at 7. The pressure was 973 millibars. There are no watches or warnings out, but there are some advisories out for the South Carolina and North Carolina beaches, and we'll be looking at those in just a little bit. Now here is our cone. It has changed a little bit. As you can see, it's not as far west in the northern end of it, and it is making a sharp easterly turn. So that actually is looking better. And also in that Tuesday to Wednesday time frame, they're showing it just a tropical storm. It's going to lose its hurricane status. And here are the winds, and the probability of having any tropical force winds is pretty low. I did look at some of the local NWS sites, and Cape Hatteras was showing late Monday into Tuesday up to 30-mile-an-hour winds, and that was it, and rain. And here is the spaghetti models, and looking at those, it's going to move pretty much north, and then it shows that turn to the east, and you can see that some of the models actually show it curving back around. We'll just have to watch the models on that and see if that's the trend. Next up, this is Hurricane Maria, 11 o'clock p.m. Information. It was 545 miles from the Leeward Islands. It had 50-mile-an-hour winds. It was moving west at 16 miles an hour, and its central pressure was 1,002 millibars. They expect this. They expect it to slow down just a little, and also become a hurricane soon. And here is the cone on it, and as you see, a little hard to see here, but as of Monday morning, they believe it's going to be a hurricane right before it gets to the Leeward Islands. Unknown if it's going to be a Category 1 or 2. It is going to be in a very favorable area for development. They do believe that it's going to actually increase to a major hurricane by the time it gets near Puerto Rico. So let's look at our spaghetti models. And looking at them, they've not changed very little. They've are trending still a little bit south, and that track puts it right over the northern islands, and it also puts it directly over Puerto Rico. So people in the Caribbean really need to watch this closely in the next day or so. And here is the intensity guidance, and all of the models here are showing that it's going to increase. Some are showing that it's going to get up to a Category 5. Chances are it could get up to a Category 4. But in the waters it's in, a 5 is not out of the question. Here's a picture of Maria. It's looking a lot better. It's starting to get a core, and no eye yet, but it will probably soon. You can see the islands off to your left, so it's not that far away. And it's also starting to get that some banding, which we would expect for a growing cyclone. Next up, here is the watches and warnings. There are no warnings out as of 11 p.m., but there are there's a hurricane watch for Guadalupe, Barbuda, St. Kitts, Montserrat area, and a tropical storm watch for St. Lucia and Barbados, St. Vincent, that area, a little bit further south in the island chain. Whenever you have these watches, it means within 48 hours you could be seeing those conditions. Now here's the wave heights. We just got this in, and you can see 16.1 feet for the wave heights on Jose, and they are making their way closer and closer to shore. So that's why we want to show you this. This is basically a advisory, and it's the highest advisory alert. That's the red, and that's for rip currents and very high wave heights. So that goes a little bit south of Myrtle Beach, all the way up into the beaches of North Carolina. They don't want you actually even in the water. And here is Lee, and Lee is not expected to form into a hurricane. They believe it's actually going to become a depression somewhere out around Tuesday into Wednesday. And here's the models on it, and it's pretty much going to be staying away from any landmass. If anything, is just going to probably make a turn to the north if it doesn't dissipate before then. And we're going to show a picture of it here. We got one. Yep, there it is. And it looks pretty good for a tropical storm, but it's just in an absolute terrible area. Water-wise, the heat, ocean temperatures, and the upper winds. So it's not going to be able to do much. Back to the beaches. Here is the UV index, and if you're going to be around Myrtle Beach or Carolina Beach, it's at 8, a little higher than yesterday, and that means you could get a skin damage in about 20 to 15 minutes. So you need your sunscreen. And here is for our people that's down in the islands. This is showing the wind speeds, and like Guadalupe is calm, and Barbados is only 9 miles an hour. So they're very deceptive what you're seeing here, because very soon you're going to be getting a lot of wind as Maria gets close. This is the tropical intensity index, and it shows those red areas are the areas where the conditions are good and the ocean is warm. And you can see right over the islands, the upper Leeward Islands is a very favorable area, and they believe once it gets right in that area, that's when it's going to become a major hurricane. Well, I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to post them. We're going to watch real close all our models, especially for the people down in the Caribbean, because they seem to be in the way of Maria, especially if it keeps tracking that little bit south. Well, till next time, have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.